It's been quite a while since I dropped my first mock draft. I was actually supposed to drop this mock draft probably about like a week and a half ago, but I decided to like kind of push it back because personally, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, not having a first round pick really kind of kills my vibe with the mock drafts. It's not as fun, and honestly, with this whole Rona situation going around and the whole not having a first round pick, like I'm not too hyped for the actual NFL draft. Maybe as we get closer to it, I might get more hyped, but I'm not that hyped. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys are hyped or if you're like me, don't really care that much. But yeah, in the last mock draft, the first mock draft, we didn't have the comp picks yet, and of course, we didn't do the disastrous D-Hop trade, so we had less picks. This time around, we have way more picks, 3 of them being in the 7th round. But before I get into this mock draft, I made another Discord server. If you guys don't know what a Discord server is, it's pretty much like a little app. You could get it on your phone, you could get it on your laptop, you can get it on your GPS, PDA, iPod, whatever you youngins are using these days. But yeah, it's an app and it's pretty much a group chat. Now, I've had a Discord before, but I deleted it. But now I made another one because, like I said, this whole damn Rona situation, it's, annoying, boring. There's not much you could do. So, why not hop in a big old group chat and talk about not only Texans stuff, but like anything. We could talk about memes. We could talk about how Kendrick Lamar is way better than Drake. We can talk about how, I don't know, J. Cole is overrated. We can talk about some of them fancy helicopters. We can talk about anything. We can share memes. Like, literally, we could do anything in there. There's even a voice chat, so if you want to talk with other people, you can talk with other people. So, yeah. If you guys want to join, the link to that will be at the top of the description. And also, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Click the notification bell so you don't miss any more videos. And honestly, I've been thinking about dropping like more NFL related things again. Comment down below if you guys would want me to do some more NFL videos how I did in the past, but I kind of just stopped because, I don't know, kind of lost interest, but who knows, maybe I could return to that depending on what you guys want. And yeah, let's get on to the mock draft. With the 40th overall pick, the one we got from Arizona from the terrible D-Hop trade, but I'm over that, so let's not talk about that. I picked Ross Blacklock, interior defensive lineman out of TCU. Now, I've been saying this for like the past 2, maybe 3 years. The Texans need a guy up front that can push the pocket and get pressure on the quarterback. Now, Ross, he can do that. He is, a little raw. He does need a little bit more help on his hand usage and the mental aspect of the game, but that's totally fine. You know why? Because we got Anthony Weaver, the same guy that turned 5th round pick DJ Reader into one of the top nose tackles in the NFL. Yes, Reader's gone, but I still stand by my initial thoughts on that. He had to go. 13.5 mil for a nose tackle is way too much money, but yeah, he developed DJ Reader. He turned Brandon Dunn and Angelo Blackson from some 2 scrubs into some really good rotational pieces. So, if Blacklock comes here, I think Anthony Weaver can really help him take his game to the next level and really become a Chris Jones clone. Because that's what I think Blacklock can be. He's a guy who can push the pocket. And now imagine a rotation between Blacklock, Omenahu, and Timmy Jernigan. We'll have a really stout interior defensive line. And you can even throw Watt inside on certain occasions. So, yeah, getting Blacklock with his quickness on the inside, his burst, yeah, watch out. We're going to have Phillip Rivers running for his life. Still can't believe the Colts signed Phillip Rivers, man. It's freaking hilarious. With our next second round pick, I had the Texans selecting Brandon Aiyuk, wide receiver from Arizona State. Now, obviously, with DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona, I'm over it. We need some wide receiver help. Now, here's the thing. People come into my streams all the time. People ask me all the time, Sticky, who's our number one receiver going to be? The answer is no. It's just no. Like, we're not going to have a number one receiver anymore. We're just going to have multiple good receivers. Kenny Still's good, nothing special. Will Fuller, I think he can be great, but he can't stay healthy, so we'll just say he's good. And then, Randall Cobb, good slot receiver, nothing like too extraordinary. Brandon Aiyuk, good rookie wide receiver that can stretch the field and return kicks and punts, which is why I absolutely love him as well. He can return kicks and punts. Gotta get rid of DeAndre Carter. Even though DeAndre Carter is the best DeAndre on the team last season, we still gotta get rid of him. He's not a good returner, and obviously that fumble in the playoffs versus the Chiefs, it left a bad taste in my mouth. So I kind of just want him off the team, and getting Brandon Aiyuk kind of throws him off the team because Aiyuk could go back out there and return the kicks and punts, and he can be the Will Fuller insurance that we need for now. Keyword for now, because a lot of people don't know this, but the only wide receivers that we have under contract after this season is Kiki QT and Randall Cobb. So, obviously they can definitely re-sign Will Fuller or Kenny Stills, but it would be wise to bring in another rookie wide receiver with one of our earlier picks, just in case Fuller and Stills walk, so we're not left with Kiki QT and Randall Cobb as our only receivers, because if that does happen, then, we're kind of screwed. But see, the thing with the Texans receiving core, it is still good. Obviously, we don't have D-Hop. D-Hop is a beast. I will always love D-Hop. And you can't replace D-Hop with one player. That's like pretty much impossible to do. So what do? You get multiple players to make up for the production lost, and bringing in Aiyuk and then, obviously Randall Cobb, I think that can, help make up some of that production, because there's more targets for Deshaun out there, and, he's just another fast guy that can create separation pretty quickly, so he's going to get open pretty quick. And, here's the thing, I'm curious about this. How is Deshaun Watson going to perform now that DeAndre is gone? Because keep in mind, yes, DeAndre is an absolute beautiful monster, but keep this in mind. A lot of young quarterbacks, when they have a wide receiver, like DeAndre Hopkins, like a Calvin Johnson, I think of the early Matthew Stafford days. A lot of the times the quarterbacks lock in to that one guy because he's a stud. They don't go through their progressions. So now that D-Hop's gone, how is Deshaun Watson gonna process the field? I'm actually curious now that you really sit down and start to think about it instead of crying about D-Hop. I still cry about it to this day, but if you sit down and start to think about it, how is Deshaun Watson gonna process the field now? Is he gonna regress or is he gonna get better? With our third round pick, I had the Texans selecting Alohi Gilman, safety out of Notre Dame. Now, here's the thing. Justin Reed is trying really, really hard to recruit Eric Reed. And if we get Eric Reed, then, this pick can go out the window. Because I do think that the Texans need a box safety who can cover, not great in coverage, because Eric Reed's not great in coverage, but okay at covering the underneath stuff and can help in run support. Someone that can sub in and out with McKinney, because we know McKinney is god-awful at coverage, but he's a good run thumper. So in certain passing situations, we need a box safety to be down there and, help out. But you also can't have just any safety down there, because what if it's a run play? He'd get swallowed up. That's why I need a safety that's good in run support. Now, Gilman, he provides that. The dude doesn't care. Like, he comes down hard. He goes after the run hard. Now, in deep coverage, you don't want him back there. Believe me, he's not good. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the rangiest guy. But that's okay because we got Justin Reed. We got Tashawn Gibson to cover the back end of the field. We need a guy, a box safety, pretty much a replacement for Jalil Adai, the stuff he would do for us last year. Now, Gilman, I do think he's better in coverage than Adai, and he's also probably a better run stuffer as well. Now, I do think that at times he over pursues, but I think that's something he can work on. It's not like he's a bad tackler, because if you're a bad tackler at this point in your life, like, you're just never gonna learn how to tackle, because you learn how to tackle at a young age. So yeah, it's not like he has something that you can't really fix. It's just he over pursues sometimes. Now, personally, I would have liked to fill another hole before the box safety hole, because the box safety hole is more of a backup issue more than a starting issue. I still feel like we have some starter issues, but that's the way the board fell. Like, that's the way it kept falling. There was no edge rushers or running backs available. So yeah, I opted to go with the best player available at position of need, which was Gilman. And if we got him in the third round, I wouldn't be mad. With our next pick, I had the Texans selecting Kenny Willekes. This is someone that I picked in my last mock draft, and he's an edge rusher, and the fact that I was able to get him here makes me one very happy little Christmas tree, because I already like Kenny Willekes, and I think he could come in here and be a good rotational piece. But even though we're a little bit crowded at edge rusher, if you think about it, because we got Watt, obviously, we got the young stud in Jacob Martin, we got Duke Ejiofor as well, and then we got average AF Whitney Merciless. So we got 4 edge rushers, but here's the thing, man. JJ Watt, Whitney Merciless, they're a little bit older, so we do need to get younger as well. We need to start planning about the future, and I feel like Kenny Willekes can come in here and be a nice little situational pass rusher, give Watt and Merciless some breathers here and there. And, I'm not asking him to rack up 102 sacks. No, just maybe this year, maybe 3-4 sacks in limited playing time. But then in the future, you can really become like a 7 to 8, 9 sacks a year type of guy. Like, he's not going to be Von Miller. He's not going to be, one of these elite pass rushers. But you could be a very nice piece, So that's all I'm asking for him. I'm not really going to get too much into him because I already talked about him in my last mock draft. So there's really no point in me talking about him again. With the next pick, I had the Texans selecting Justin Sternad, linebacker from Wake Forest. Now, this is a guy who... Okay, look. Personally, I like McKinney. A lot of you guys don't like McKinney. I believe that it's important to have a run thumper like McKinney on the team. A lot of you guys disagree with that. And, that's okay. We all have different opinions. I never get mad at anyone for having a different opinion unless it's something completely outrageous, like saying John Weeks isn't good. In that case, I'm angry. But, yeah, Justin, he is a guy who can play sideline to sideline. He can cover pretty well. He needs to work a little bit on his instincts, but I feel like that will develop over time, playing time, playing next to Zach Cunningham and McKinney, learning from Brian Cushing. I feel like he can get better instincts-wise. Now, run thumping-wise, run stopping-wise, he's not quite there yet, Maybe if he gets stronger, like he can come downhill. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not like a bad tackler or anything, but he's just not as good as McKinney or even Cunningham for that matter. But I think this is a guy who we can bring in this year and maybe have him sit behind McKinney and Cunningham this year. And then, in the offseason, you trade Medardick McKinney and have Justin and Cunningham be your two starting linebackers for the foreseeable future. Because you also got to think, we got to pay Cunningham. He's probably going to get like 11 mil plus a year. McKinney's getting 10 mil a year. So, you trade McKinney, you save cap space, use that cap space saved to sign Cunningham to an extension, and then you have Justin take over that second linebacker spot. Now, some people are going to ask, well, what about Dylan Cole? Love Dylan Cole, but the dude cannot stay healthy, so no, he's not reliable. But Justin, I do think he could become a starter like in a couple years. And, year one, he can be a backup player, but he is a linebacker who can play sideline to sideline. Now, this past year, his senior year, he suffered a torn bicep, so yeah, it's causing his draft stock to fall. But I mean, it's just a torn bicep. Like, people recover from that all the time. I don't think it's something that's gonna like affect his career, but it is causing him to fall quite a bit. I wouldn't be shocked if he went way sooner than the 4th round, but if we get him in the 4th round, I'd be very, very, very happy. Now, the Texans have 3 7th round picks, and when it comes to the late day 3 picks, you gotta start looking for special teamers and backup players, or players that you can possibly develop into something. It's gonna be very, very hard to find like a flawless prospect this late in the draft, unless some guy does something insane that makes him fall. But yeah, you're not gonna find flawless prospects this late in the draft. Now, with our first 7th round pick, I had the Texans selecting Bryant, corner out of Fresno State. He's 6'1", 185 pounds. He has like the measurables to be a good corner. He's obviously not as big as Lonnie Johnson, not as fast as Lonnie Johnson, but I do see the same flaws that Lonnie Johnson has, and that's his, ability to turn. How I always say Lonnie Johnson turns like a sailboat. Well, Lonnie Johnson's actually working with the footwork king right now as we speak, probably. And, I've seen the videos on Twitter, and Lonnie actually looks very nice. Now, if Lonnie could do that, I think Bryant can do so as well. Now, if Lonnie develops well, Lonnie can legit be a starting number 1 corner. Now, Bryant, he doesn't have the same athleticism as Lonnie, so I think his ceiling would be a starting nickel corner. And, that's fine, because right now, our nickel corner situation's up in the air. Vernon Hargreaves this year on a 1-year deal. We paid a bunch of money to Eric Murray, and we don't know if he's going to be any good. So why not take a chance on a late round prospect like Bryant and see if he can do anything. See if he can develop into our nickel corner of the future. With our next 7th round pick, I had the Texans selecting James Robinson, running back out of Illinois State. Now, this guy, he's 5'9", 220 pounds. So he's kind of built like a little bowling ball, He has a low center of gravity, and that's the type of player he is. He is a power back. He has very good vision, actually, and he can hit the holes pretty well, and he could get those short yards. Now, what's wrong with him? He don't have long speed. He's pretty slow, so if you're expecting this guy to, be Derrick Henry, he's not going to be Derrick Henry, but he is going to get you, and he can get you those tough 2, 3, 4 yards, like on 3rd and short situations. And he's also a very good pass blocker. So, say it's 3rd and 3. You could put him in there. Now, if he couldn't pass protect, obviously the defense would know, oh yeah, so they're clearly running, because then they wouldn't put this guy in there. But since he can pass protect, now they don't know, is it going to be a short pass, or are they going to hand it off to him? So I think that's good, and like I said, at this point, you got to look for backup players. Right now, Texans have David Johnson and Duke Johnson. We need a power back, and I think James Robinson can be that power back in certain short yardage situations. You can go in there and get those tough yards for us. And yeah, I mean, he's 5'9", 220 pounds. Not Derrick Henry. Like, expecting to draft a Derrick Henry this late is, unrealistic. But we still need a power back. And I think James Robinson can be that for us. And with our last pick, I had the Texans selecting Tremaine Anchrum, offensive tackle out of Clemson. Now, in Clemson, he played offensive tackle, but in the NFL, due to his length and size, I do think he'd be a way better guard, and so does pretty much everyone else. I mean, he's like 6'2", so yeah, he's going to be a guard. Throw him at guard. Obviously not a starter. He has to develop his game some. He's a very smart player. He does need to get stronger, but I mean, that's like pretty much every single player in the draft. Most of them need to get stronger because, going from college to the NFL, there's a huge skill gap. So I think this is a guy who is worth taking in the 7th round and have him sit a year, maybe 2 behind Zach Fulton, and then maybe he can turn into a replacement for Zach Fulton. Now, everybody is, wanting to replace Zach Fulton immediately. And look, I get it. He is clearly our weakest link on the O-line. But it's not like Zach Fulton is Xavier Su'a-Filo or Jeff Allen, Getting a player better than Zach Fulton isn't, a need. I feel like it's more of a luxury that if we did have, my God, our O-line would be dominant. Now, Fulton has 2 years left on his deal, so that gives us 2 years to develop his future replacement. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Anchrum. It can be literally any offensive guard or, interior offensive lineman that they see out there who has potential to develop into something. We don't have to throw him out there into the fire how we did to Julian Davenport. Like, we can actually, take our time and let him develop as a backup. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my mock draft 2.0. Comment down below your opinion on my mock draft. Comment down below your own mock draft if you have one. And yeah, like I said at the start of the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.